If your ancestors weren't from Africa, there's a good chance part of you isn't fully human. At least, not fully Homo sapiens. Scientists have confirmed that most people alive today carry actual Neanderthal DNA, inherited directly from encounters tens of thousands of years ago. Not a myth, not a theory. Real, measurable genetic code, still active in your body right now. And new research suggests humans and Neanderthals interbred far more often, and more recently, than scientists ever expected. This is the real story of how two different kinds of humans met, mixed, and left a mark that's still written into your genes today. Neanderthals weren't primitive brutes. They were a separate human species, living across Europe and Asia for over 300,000 years. They made tools, controlled fire, buried their dead, and survived some of the harshest ice ages our planet has ever seen. Physically, they were shorter, stockier, and stronger than us, built for cold climates and physically demanding lives. For hundreds of thousands of years, they were the dominant humans across this territory, long before our species ever arrived. Then, around 60,000 years ago, something changed. A new kind of human began arriving on their doorstep. As modern humans migrated out of Africa, they moved directly into lands where Neanderthals had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. These weren't two completely alien species. They were close enough, biologically, that they could recognize each other and interact. Evidence now suggests these encounters weren't rare or accidental. In some regions, the two groups lived side by side for thousands of years. And somewhere in that overlap, something happened that would shape the DNA of billions of people who hadn't even been born yet. Modern humans and Neanderthals didn't just coexist. They had children together, and those children survived. For decades, this was just theory. Then scientists found a way to extract usable DNA from bones tens of thousands of years old. By sequencing the Neanderthal genome and comparing it to modern humans, researchers found something remarkable: overlapping genetic code. Specific segments of Neanderthal DNA showed up again and again in modern human genomes, especially outside of Africa. Today, most non-African populations carry between 1% and 4% Neanderthal DNA, a small percentage with an outsized impact. This discovery didn't just confirm interbreeding happened. It proved that Neanderthals never truly went extinct. They live on inside us. Newer research suggests this wasn't a single event. Humans and Neanderthals appear to have interbred multiple times, in multiple places. Genetic evidence points to separate mixing events across different regions and time periods, not one isolated encounter. In 2026, researchers uncovered DNA evidence of an entire Neanderthal community in what is now Poland, essentially frozen in time. This kind of evidence is helping scientists map out exactly when, where, and how often these two human species crossed paths. The picture emerging isn't of two separate species that briefly overlapped. It's of two populations that were deeply intertwined. Neanderthals weren't the only ancient cousins we mixed with. A separate group, known as the Denisovans, has an even stranger story. Denisovans are known almost entirely from a handful of tiny bone fragments, yet their DNA legacy is anything but small. Some populations in the Pacific Islands carry up to 5% Denisovan DNA, even higher than typical Neanderthal percentages elsewhere. This means some people alive today carry a stronger genetic link to Denisovans than almost anyone else on Earth. Modern humans didn't just interbreed once with one relative. We're a genetic patchwork of multiple ancient human lineages. This isn't just leftover code sitting unused. Neanderthal DNA is still actively shaping human bodies today. Some of the strongest inherited genes affect the immune system, possibly helping early modern humans fight off unfamiliar diseases outside Africa. In Tibet, a gene inherited from Denisovans helps modern populations survive and thrive at extremely high altitudes, with less oxygen. Other inherited genes influence traits like skin tone, hair texture, and even how people process fat and cold, direct echoes of Neanderthal biology. Some of what makes different human populations unique today can be traced directly back to these ancient encounters. Not every inherited gene was a gift. Some Neanderthal DNA is linked to increased risk for certain modern health conditions. Researchers have connected specific Neanderthal genes to blood clotting differences, allergy sensitivity, and even certain mood-related traits. This mixed inheritance makes sense. Genes that helped Neanderthals survive their world don't always fit perfectly into ours. Studying these genes is helping modern medicine understand why certain health risks vary so much between different populations today. In a strange way, some of our modern vulnerabilities are simply the price of an ancient survival advantage. For a long time, human evolution was taught as a simple, single line. One species steadily replacing the last. That picture is being replaced by something messier and far more interesting. A tangled, branching tree of related human species. Modern humans weren't the only success story. We were one branch among several, and for a time, those branches grew side by side. Every new genome sequenced adds more detail to this picture, revealing just how connected these ancient populations really were. We didn't simply outcompete our ancient relatives. In a very real genetic sense, we absorbed them. So if your ancestry traces outside Africa, there's a strong chance a small piece of Neanderthal, or even Denisovan, DNA is inside you right now. It's in your immune system, maybe your skin, possibly even how your body handles cold or altitude. Quiet fragments of an ancient inheritance. Neanderthals didn't disappear the way we once believed. They became part of us, woven permanently into the human genome. Every person carrying that inheritance today is, in a very real sense, a living continuation of a story that began over 50,000 years ago. Extinction, it turns out, isn't always the end of the story. Sometimes it's just the beginning of a new one, written into every cell of your body,